Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Commander's Crypt. I've got an awesome video for you today. Today, I'm going to talk about the Necron deck. I love this deck. It was considered probably one of the strongest Warhammer decks, the Necron deck. I absolutely like it. I love it. The only thing is, I'm going to show you, I actually like playing Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose with this deck. It's really awesome. What basically happens is you're able to pretty much keep up with anybody else that's putting out a lot of creatures, creating a lot of tokens, because that's what you will be doing yourself. But then what happens is, as the game starts going and people start losing life, you have a way to gain massive chunks of life back with Veto and take opponents out. That's late game. This deck is awesome. I like Veto because he's so cheap. If you have like a life linker out there, like a worm coil engine or something like that, you can play him early and start gaining life and slinging the damage around. But late game, if he's been killed a couple times, he only costs 5-7 to put out. And then if you get another 5 mana, you swing out with a massive swing, and even if a bunch of your creatures die, you gain so much life. And they lose their creatures, but then you're able to sling that damage back at them and take out opponents. I absolutely love Veto. I think Veto would go in any all-black deck. As I'm playing him, I'm starting to realize how amazing he is. He would also be good in Reanimator decks. I've got him in my Mirko Reanimator deck. I'll play, because it's Surveil, I can dig in there, and He usually comes out every game, late game, and I swing out with all my big creatures, gain massive life, and then I'm way ahead of my opponents, and then I start killing everybody by slinging that gained life right back out as damage, which Veto does. Let me read them. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. And then, so it says whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So I'm going to show you some cards that gain you massive amounts of life without creature damage that then allows you to sling it back around. Black has a lot of effects. There's even like Scythe Blade out there that will take, have people's lives and give it to you and give it to yourself. So, Exquisite Blood is basically an infinite combo with this. I don't have it in this deck, but you could do that. But Veto is one of the best black commanders, I think. He fits in everywhere. He gets you, comes in early game, comes in late game, fits you lots of, gets you out of a hole when you're low on life. And then you just start slinging that damage back at people. I absolutely love this guy. So I took my Necron deck and put Veto at the head of it for now, but I've got other commanders in here that you could swap out if you feel like changing them out. So, for example, Geth, Lord of the Vault, he's also in here. He's part of the 99, but if you wanted to swap him out as a commander, you could do that. Intimidate. This creature can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or creatures that share a color with it. Black and X, put target artifact or creature card from converted mana cost X from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under control tap. Then that player puts the top X cards of their library into their graveyard. You could play this guy as a commander as well, or you could just play him in the 99. He's amazing. I was playing a game where somebody was coming to kill me, and I had blockers, but I didn't have a flyer, and so I used Geth's ability to pull out a Flame Tongue Kavu and kill his flyer as it was coming at me, and it brought it into play, and I used its ETB to stop him from killing me, and then I swung out with a bunch of creatures of Veto and won the game. So Geth is amazing. You look for people's graveyards with ETBs, artifacts, all that kind of stuff. He would be good as a commander, but he's also very good in the 99. Other commanders you could potentially put in this deck would be Sir Conrad the Grim. This guy is a total beast. What starts happening is when creatures start dying en masse, and I'm going to show you, you've got a bunch of board wipes in this deck, you start, and I've got a bunch of one-sided board wipes in here. You got Sir Conrad out, you do a one-sided board wipe, it's going to add insult to injury as everybody gets pinged for all that stuff. Plus, this deck mills itself a lot, and you're going to be pinging everybody a lot that way. This guy is a total beast. He could, I tried him as the commander as well, but I just like Veto better. Another part of the 99 which you could use as the commander is Sazerac, the Silent King. Flying, whenever he attacks, mill 3 cards. You may put an artifact, creature card, or vehicle card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. This gets your deck going really fast as well. But I don't know. I just feel like Veto's more impactful. But this guy in the 99 really helps out. So that's good. Another potential commander that you could do in this deck would be Imhotep, the Stormlord. Whenever one or more artifact cards leave your graveyard, create 2 black Necron warrior artifact creature tokens. He's cheap. He's a 3/3. You could also use him as your commander and swarm the field, or you could put him in as a 99 and put him with other mega token creators and do it that way, and then swing out with Veto and win the game and hit people in the dome with that life gain. Another, and of course these came with the deck, but you know, I played them and they just seemed kind of fall short. Enriker the Traveler, whenever he attacks, you may cast an artifact spell from your hand or graveyard by paying life equal to its mana cost. Again, I feel he's better in the 99 because you know, yeah, he might be good as a commander, but you know, you only have a certain amount of life to be doing that with. Trazan the Infinite, he could also be one of your commanders. Death Touch, as long as he is on the battlefield, it has all activated abilities of all artifact cards in your graveyard. Okay. You know, but there's so much graveyard removal, yada yada yada. Again, he just kind of fell short. I love Veto. I think Veto is one of the best black commanders ever. His ability really works toward black. I actually think that he should be a white card. But anyway, so then we've got all of the mana rocks, obelisks, so you can kill stuff. Those pesky enchantments that black can't do. Gilded Lotus. This deck had a lot of mana rocks. Soul Ring. And I kept most of them in. Scepter of Eternal Glory is absolutely amazing in this deck. Gives you, it's basically a Black Lotus every turn because all you've got pretty much is swamps in this deck. You play this 4th turn, and 5th turn, you're going to have 7 or 8 mana because of this thing, because all your lands are swamps. Mind Stone, Arcane Signet. This deck came with a lot of mana rocks. Hedron Archive, you can draw cards later, same thing. With the Mind Stone, you have no maximum hand. With the Thought Vessel, Wafer's Bauble. Okay, I took that out because there's so many mana rocks and so many lands in this. I changed it with this. Oh, no, I took that out too. I changed Commander Sphere with Metalworker, and I changed out Wayfarer Bauble for Reanimate. Same mana cost and way better. Metalworker is absolutely a powerhouse. Every time I play this card, everybody poops themselves because it's an all artifact deck. If you play the 2nd or 3rd turn and you're able to tap this sideways, you could potentially get 14 mana just from your hand alone. So everybody freaks when they see this. It's an artifact creature as well, so it fits very well. This is considered one of the elite magic cards, and they're not that expensive as far as they go. Now the regular ones are $200 or $300, But the gold border ones are relatively cheap. You could get them. It's still a magic card, and it is Commander. So I changed out Commander Sphere with Metalworker, same mana, but much better. And that's what I changed out the one casting cost card there, Wayfarer's Bauble. I'm going to show you my deck list, but I think it still needs more reanimate. I need to put an animate dead in here, a necromancy. It needs more stuff that can reanimate your and enemies' creatures that are in the graveyard. Dread Return. So this is the reanimate package. Dread Return works really well in this deck because you're gonna make so many zombies and Necrons. You could easily sacrifice them and flash this back. Beacon of Unrest. This card is a beast. In one game, I played this card 4 times. It shuffles back in your library, and you just keep reanimating stuff. Another very good card to put in this deck would be Carnal Serenade. It's another reanimate spell that keeps popping up. Once you cast it, you could either, you could time warp it for 3, or right away, or you can cast it and it time warps, but then comes back. You take the counters off, and then you keep taking stuff out of your graveyard. Whereas Beacon of Unrest, you can, as you mill your deck or as you play cards, you could keep drawing this. I drew it one game 4 times. This card is an all-star reanimator card. I took out Canoptic Wraith because it's a nothing card. You can sacrifice it to get a land. I put Mech Titan Core in here. This guy is a total badass, man. So what happens is you play this for 2 and people forget about it or whatever. And then at instant speed, 5, exile the Mech Titan Core and 4 other artifact creatures or vehicles you control. Create Mech Titan, a legendary 10/10 construct. Artificial creature token with flying, vigilance, travel, lifelink, and haste. That's all colors. When that token leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled back to the board under their owner's control. So this guy works really, really well with Veto. You put Veto out, and then next turn you activate this guy in whammo. You hit for 10, you get 10 life, and then you bolt somebody for 10. If you want to hit the same player, you basically knock out half his life within the first few rounds of the game. Mech Titan Core is one of my favorite cards. It's basically Voltron. Absolutely love this. And I'll show you the other things that you can use with this guy. He's a total badass, and the token is badass too. Shard of the Nightbringer, 8/8 flying. When he enters the battlefield, if you cast it, target opponent loses half their life, rounded up. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So Veto says that if you gain life, you gain life, you get that life. And so you gain life, and then you get the life, and Veto really, really kicks ass. This is one of the cards that came in the deck that really works well with Veto. It says whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So in this case, the target opponent is going to lose his life. You're going to gain life from this. Then the life that you gain from this will then allow you to do more. So you basically double the life loss, and you gain a bunch of life yourself. And this is good for those guys that are, have put up, all this life, 100 or whatever, and boom, you get it, and then you can blast him and kill the guy that's been gaining the life gain decks. Flayed One, he's also life link. When he enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. Another good card to put in this deck, which is not in my deck, but I need to get it, is a Rogue's Passage. with Rogue's Passage, you can make creatures unblockable, but he works with Veto. He is an artifact creature, Necron. So now I'm going to show you the Necrons that I kept in the deck. Scorpeth Lord, other artifact creatures you control, get +1 and have menace, so he's a Lord. Necron Deathmark, he's able to target other creatures and kill them and flash. And then mill 3 cards. The milling thing works well for you. Triarch Stalker. Even if you don't attack, this thing still works. You can give an opponent they now have creatures that attack them have menace. So even if you don't attack, you could give an opponent menace, and then if other people want to attack him, it kind of entices your fellow opponents to attack somebody. Illuminator Ceres, sack another creature, get mana. That could be good because that's at instant speed. If something's about to die, you can get the mana for it. Royal Warden, when you play this, put 2 Necron Warriors in. So if you keep flashing this guy, you be putting warriors in or bring him out. He's got Unearth, so again, you can pull him out and put more warriors in. All of these guys have Unearth. This guy, he's a 3/2 flyer. When he enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. That's not going to be no big deal for you. Whoops. Necron Overlord, X tap, X untap creature you control. Target opponent loses X life. So there you go. There you go. Somebody loses life. Psychomancer, flying. Whenever he or another artifact control put on a graveyard from the battlefield or is put in exile from the battlefield, target opponent lose life, you gain 1 life. He works really well with Sir Conrad. There's a lot of pinger type cards in this deck. I've got a Massacre Worm in here. I had Massacre Worm and Sir Conrad out, and people were getting bolted every time a creature died. Psychomancer helps with that. Canoptic Scarab Swarm, flying. When he enters battlefield, exile target player's graveyard for each artifact or land exile this way. Create a 1/1 colorless insect artifact creature token. Yeah, so I guess they're expecting you to make a lot of insects because they gave you a lot of insect tokens in this deck. So I kept it in there. You know, for 4 mana, that could be a very good deal. Give you a bunch. This is a token generator deck as well. Cryptic, choose another target artifact control. When that creature dies its turn, return to battlefield tapped on your control. This guy's awesome. He's kind of like Black's version of Mom. Technomancer. When he enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards and return any number of artifact creature cards with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Very cool. Very cool. Kind of pricey, 5/1. You know, kind of a reanimate spell. Could maybe take this out and put another reanimate spell in. Crypto Thrall, artifact creatures you control have hexproof. He's awesome. That's pretty much all your creatures. Lynch Guard. 3 sacrifice, return all legendary creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. More kind of reanimator type of thing. Chronomancer, sack another artifact, draw a card. That could be good as well if you got treasure tokens, or you're going to have all kinds of Necron creature tokens. Triarch Praetor, when he enters the battlefield from a graveyard, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life, and he's got Unearth 5. Sawtech Immortal enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature that died this turn. He flashes in. So I kind of wish this guy was just black in 1. He would be much stronger if that was the case. And Canoptic Tomb Sentinel, this guy's a badass. I have him in another reanimator deck, and in one game I pulled him out of the graveyard 4 times and exiled 4 key enchantments, etc. When he enters the battlefield from graveyard, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent, Unearth 7. Canoptic Spider. When a artifact, creature, or vehicle enters the battlefield under control, draw a card. Here's the fun creatures. Hexmark's Destroyer. I took him out and replaced him with Screeching Scorchbat. This guy is a badass. I played him the other day, and within 2 rounds, I had 12 to 15 zombie mutants. This guy is a total badass. It works well in your deck, and it denies resources to your opponents. This is one of the best creatures. This is the best creature that came out of Fallout. And I think it's one of the best token creator creatures ever. Within, like I said, once your opponents get them rad counters, they're losing life. They are, losing resources, and you're making a swarm of creatures. Massacre Worm, he's awesome too. You play him, wipes the board, and everybody takes 2 damage for every 2/2 or less that gets wiped, and then continues to do so. Like I said, I had Sir Conrad the Grim out with him, and man, they were bolting people for every creature that got put in the graveyard. And you're going to see I've got a lot of one-sided board wipes in this deck. Shard of the Void Dragon, same thing. Whenever he attacks, he gets a +1 counter, and each opponent has to sacrifice a 9-land permanent whenever an artifact's put in graveyard from the battlefield or exile from the battlefield. Put 2 +1 counters on this guy, so he starts to become a badass. Left him in Demon of Dark Schemes. This is a board wipe as well, but he's also a reanimator. You drop this guy, let's say things are looking dire, you drop this guy and wipe your board and their board too. You're going to get all kinds of energy counters. And you can start reanimating stuff, and you don't have to tap this guy. It's black and 2 and colon and energy. So you can start taking out yours or other people's big creatures. He is a reanimate on a stick, but it doesn't lose you life. Out of the tombs, I took that out and put a Grave Titan in. Same thing, we are creating lots of token creatures. I took Darkness out, and I replaced it with Visara the Dreadful. Visara the Dreadful is a creature kill spell on a stick. Biotransference, this is a good card. Creatures you control are artifacts in addition to the other types. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you lose 1 life and create a Necron warrior artifact creature token. With Veto, this is no big deal. You could see the problem with the other commanders is you play this and you start losing life, but Veto gives you that life back. That's what I love about him. Endless Atlas draws you cards. Cage Sun pumps your team, gives you awesome mana. Cranial Plating. You put this on a flyer, and you're going to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 artifacts on the field, and you put this on a trampler guy or a flyer, and people are going to start to feel it. You're going to be wiping out people. I took out Defile, and I put Crawl Space in. Crawl Space is one of those cards that lets you attack, and then it allows you to be more aggro and stops you from being attacked so much. Mask of Memory digs through your deck. Cauldron of Eternity. I love this card. Works really well in this deck. I never cast it for 12. I always just cast it for 2 black. And then I start reanimating stuff out of my graveyard. It is awesome. From your graveyard. Too bad it wasn't all graveyards, or that card would be one of the best cards ever. Sculpting Steel, copy any artifact. That's good for early game when you can copy Mana Rocks, or late game if you want a copy of Dark Steel, guy, big artifact creatures or whatever. Mystic Forge, you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast artifacts, spells, and colorless spells from the top of your library. Very good card. Very, very, very good card. You can just keep casting stuff. Ding, 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 ding. Eldrazi Monument. I put this card in here. I forget what I replaced it with, but you can see why I did it. If you've got a bunch of 2/2 Necrons and a bunch of 2/2 zombies or mutant zombies from a Screeching Scorch Beast, everything's going to be indestructible, so you can block everything all day long, and board wipes are not going to affect you. They're going to have to kill that artifact before they do you. And then a Chroma's Memorial. So Eldrazi Monument, it does one-sided board wipes. If you have this out, you can wipe the board and everybody's stuff dies but yours. And then there's ways to bring out massive creatures in this deck. I'm going to show you. And then with a Chroma's Memorial out, you can just win the game. You can, I'll show you, there's a couple of cards that pull out all the creatures from all the graveyards, and you can do a massive alpha strike toward deeper into the game and win the game. Plasmancer I took out and put in Cybermen Squadron. Much, much better card. The other day I played a Cybermen Squadron and then I copied it. And so I had 2 out, and that meant that I had double Myriad. So I would attack the guy with no creatures. They would all get in, and then all of those creatures would then be doubled and go out at everybody else. It was crazy insane. Necron Monolith, he makes you dummies every time you attack. Mill 3 cards. For each card milled this way, create a 2/2 Necron Warrior. I took out Go for the Throat and put out Nuclear Fallout. This is an amazing card. Another one of the best cards of Fallout. So if you have 7 mana, you can do an X of 10 and then give people 5 rad counters. And those rad counters stick around, man. Everybody's milling and losing resources, but it helps you. Their numbers Legion, create X-tapped black Necron Warrior artifact creature tokens, and you gain like the number of artifacts you control. Exile their number as Legion. There you go. That works with Veto. Then you gain life equal to the number of artifacts you control. Boom, that number could be huge. And then Veto will allow you to gain life. And then when you gain that life, target opponent loses that much life. I took Mutilate out and put in Guruk's Wake. I know it's much costlier, but mana is no problem for this deck, especially with all the mana rocks. Rise of the Dark Realms. That's the card I was telling you about that works really well with a Chroma's Memorial. You play Rise of the Dark Realms and you got a Chroma's Memorial out, you just swing out and win the game. It's kind of a combo. Living Death, same thing, works really well with a Chroma's Memorial. If you're in trouble, wipe the board and get all your deals. Their Name is Death, destroy all non-artifact creatures. That pretty much is a one-sided board wipe. And then you got Bajuka Bog, you know, kill somebody's graveyard before you play this Living Death. So you're going to kill someone's graveyard that's got the best graveyard, Reliquary Tower. So here's the utility lands that are in the deck. I love the art from Warhammer. There is the Myriad Landscape. Tune Fortress acts as a reanimator spell. Vault of Whispers goes into your artifact count. And then, of course, you got to put some other cool sci-fi lands in your deck, like I have here. Big Star Wars fan. These cards kind of fit into the deck as well. So there you go. I hope you like it. And then there's the sci-fi type of cards that was in the deck already, this kind of Star Wars-ishy. So there you go. I hope you liked my Necron deck. I think Veto is the best commander. He could fit in any black deck and be a total badass. And of course, the more life flinkers that you got, the better. If you got a Wormcoil Engine in there, go for that. And actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a Wormcoil Engine in there. So you can swing in and gain 6 life at a pop. And also with the Mech Titan, with the Voltron guy, he works really well. And it's also just so fun when you get that Mech Titan core to go off and become the Voltron guy. It's fun. This deck is very fun. So I hope you liked my video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next Commander's Crypt New Orleans.